In 1978, LEGO completely changed the course of toy history when they introduced the world to the minifigure. Sculpted by a true LEGO legend, Jens Nygård Knudsen, this now iconic addition to our brick-built creations breathed new life into the brand and opened up a world of exciting possibilities. One could argue that this was the single most important advancement for the company since the clutch tube. In fact, they were so perfect that even now, nearly half a century later, the basic design remains virtually identical. And it's quite often the thing that present-day fans are most excited to see in new sets. And while I too love a well-designed modern minifigure, today I want to take a look at the ones I grew up with. The ones that instantly conjure up those warm, fuzzy, nostalgic feelings I associate with LEGO of the 80s and 90s. So in order to make the list, they have to be from that time period, be in my collection, and I'm not covering any licensed themes. There will be some honorable mentions toward the end if a great minifig happens to fall just slightly outside those parameters. But without further ado, these are the top 25-ish vintage minifigures according to TrikBrix. Kicking us off at number 25 is what some might consider to be a fairly uninteresting character, but I love the medieval peasant. If I could criticize Castle and Pirates for one thing, it would be the lack of pedestrian characters to fill out the world, so getting this guy was at least a step in the right direction. He could be found with a variety of different colored legs and hoods, and while this shirt design was used on a number of figures, it was only printed on a light gray torso for 5 sets. Traveling about 1,000 years into the future brings us to number 24, the Spyrius droid, aka Major Kartovsky. First appearing in 1994 in, you guessed it, Spyrius, this was an extremely elaborate minifigure at the time, and was also one of the first instances of leg printing. The clear helmet and intricate face print also really made him stand out. Again, offered in 5 sets, this sophisticated stellar spy is a must-have for any 90s space layout. The Western theme brought a wealth of amazing new characters and minifig elements to our brick bins, and we'll certainly be seeing more of them before this video is over, but I'd like to kick us off at number 23 with one of the more unique and least common of the bunch. This is Flat-Nosed Curry. Only released in 1 set, he features an exclusive torso and borrows one of the more rare pirate face prints. While simple, he brought some much-needed variety to the streets of Gold City Junction. The Imperial Armada was criminally understaffed in my opinion, appearing in nearly as many sets dead as they did alive. And while, for all intents and purposes, we only got 3 proper Armada figures, those 3 were all pretty fantastic. But in my eyes, none more so than the Green Captain, who hails from 1997's Pyrrhus Perilous Pitfall, and lands at number 22 on my list. From his shiny chrome breastplate, to his impeccable goatee, to his awesome Conquistador helmet, it's easy to see this guy being in complete control of any situation against his pirate foes. And hiding beneath the breastplate is a beautiful torso print. For what it's worth, the Red Captain could just as easily occupy this spot. The Dragon Knight comes in at number 21 purely on style alone. The Dragon Masters aren't my personal favorite castle faction, but even I can't deny that this guy is killing it in the fashion department. It's worth pointing out that he has the distinction of being the very first minifigure to receive a cloth cape, and it is indeed a beautiful cape. I also love his dragon helmet and colorful torso, and the mismatched legs add even more to his flamboyant appearance. Cracking into the top 20 is Anne, the Pirate Woman. She boasts another important step in LEGO history, the very first specifically female face print and torso. Before her, the only way to tell the difference was by the hairpiece, but when she hit the scene in 1989, she brought some undeniable feminine charm to the table. That alone would be enough for her to make my list, but the fact that she adds some much needed spice to the Barracuda's crew really gives her a special place in my heart. Sticking with the pirate theme for a moment, the first of several cheats on my list lands at number 19. Since they're pretty much identical besides the color of their coats and facial hair, Governor Broadside and Admiral Woodhouse share this spot. And it really just comes down to my mood on a given day, which one I prefer. I absolutely love the face prints here, which were never seen on any other figures. And you gotta love this special bicorn hat. The metallic gold printing is a nice touch as well. I suppose if I had a flintlock to my head and had to choose, I'd go with Broadside, but only because he was the original. Number 18 finds us halfway around the world in Japan. The ninja theme is a bit underrated in my opinion, and it had some absolutely incredible minifigures. But of them all, my favorite is the standard ninja. My top choice would be the black variant, but gray is the only one I own at the moment. These head wrap pieces are so cool, and I love how they allow you to carry a katana back here. This particular face print was a childhood favorite of mine, and even saw use on my custom undercover cop for a while back then. Few figures work as well on their own as the ninja, so even if you're not collecting the sets, I'd still recommend picking one of these up. Bonus points if you land a green one. Number 17 holds a special place in my heart because it was one of the very first minifigures I ever owned as a kid. Before that, I was working with hand-me-down homemakers, so you can imagine my elation when something like this came along. Over 30 years later, this is still my favorite style of medieval armor, and these helmet plumes are something I desperately love to see make a return someday. His is another very classic, very useful face print that would look just as good on a pirate or a cowboy. Another pair I just couldn't separate are the Forestman and the Forest Woman, so they're sharing the number 16 spot. Ladies first, the Forest Woman is an especially collectible minifigure, only originally being offered in one highly sought-after set. There were several reissues in the early 2010s, but even they command close to $50 at the time of this recording. If her face print looks familiar, that's because she shared it with the Pirate Anne. From a purely collector's standpoint, this version of the Forestman with the black trim and plume is the one you want, but no matter what the accent color, you can never go wrong with these guys. The Forestman faction is my favorite in all of Castle, and the simple charm and uniqueness of these is a big reason why. As much as I love the classic pirates, we all know the crew designs can be a bit repetitive, especially in the early years. Not so with my number 15 pick, the elusive Steve. He only ever came in two very large, very expensive, very collectible sets, and features a character-exclusive face and torso print. Two variants of this figure can be found, but it's widely accepted that they're both the same guy. The name Steve was jokingly given to him by TrikBrix user Double T back in 2005, and it's kind of been unofficially official ever since. And he deserves a unique name because he stands out so well amidst all the striped shirts and Imperials that littered early 90s pirates. Trotting into the 14th spot is Big Chief Rattlesnake, who was just about the most amazing minifigure I'd ever seen when he came out in 1997. Everything from his incredible headdress, highly detailed face print, and torso and leg printing that still outshines many modern minifigures. He's just next level. And back then, LEGO was kind enough to put him in one of the cheapest sets of the wave so everyone could experience his greatness. I've mentioned before that I'm not fond of noses on minifigs, but even that isn't enough to keep the Chief off my list. Lucky number 13 is my favorite adventurer's villain, Mr. Rudo Villano. Hailing from the criminally abbreviated Jungle Wave, to me, he seems like the anti-Johnny Thunder, possessing all of the bravado and cunning of our beloved hero, but none of the regard for history or human life. Sporting an exclusive torso depicting a pair of pistols tucked into an ammo belt, and a face print that tells 1,000 stories, Rudo is the kind of character that makes adventures so fun and full of life. Just looking at him inspires limitless play scenarios and creative story opportunities, which is something I find sorely lacking in most modern LEGO offerings. I mean, it doesn't get much more classic than the Classic Spaceman, right? And speaking of creative story opportunities, these Star Seekers were a completely blank canvas for your imagination. Just like the Ninja, my top choice would be black, but you really can't go wrong with any of them. While simple, the iconic moon logo has enjoyed nearly half a century as one of the greatest insignias LEGO has ever designed. Mine is a bit faded, which is common, but still inspiring. And thanks to a steady stream of new colors, collecting Classic Spaceman has never been more popular. Of course, LEGO knows this, and gone are the days of Big Chief Rattlesnake, unfortunately. While he only made an appearance in 2 of the 4 sub-themes, Harry Kane, in my book, will forever be an integral character in the adventurer's story. Just as comfortable fighting off villains next to Johnny on the ground as he is blazing across the sky in a hail of gunfire, Harry epitomizes that sort of Clark Gable, devil-may-care attitude that you love to see in a sidekick. And he looks great too, with his old-school pilot helmet, goggles, and bomber jacket. It really is a shame we didn't get to officially see him in any Dino Island or Orient Expedition sets, but that's never stopped me from taking matters into my own hands. Floating into the top 10 is one of the most fun minifigures LEGO ever came up with, the Ghost. Even after all these years, I still find myself switching off the lights whenever I have this guy around, just to see him shine. I just never get tired of it. First appearing in 1990 in Castle, he would go on to haunt a few other themes as well, but I always felt like he was a bit underused. I mean, he's a ghost, so you could find a way to use him in just about every setting, be it Western, pirates, adventurers, or even town. And while we've seen a few updates over the years, my go-to for spooky fun will always be the original. Majisto is one of the most recognizable minifigures of all time, and has long transcended his original villainous role in the Dragon Master sub-theme, where he made his debut in 1993. Being one of the few named characters in Castle at the time made him pretty special, as did his brand new hat, beard, and glow-in-the-dark magic wand. His arrival marked a new era of fantasy in LEGO Castle, and he paved the way for more unique individuals in the theme, like Basil the Batlord and King Leo. While LEGO has tried, not very hard if we're being honest, to modernize Majisto, they got it right the first time with this one. That brings us to my final cheat of the list, fittingly in the Hateful Eight spot, the Thompson Gang. I just couldn't single out one over the others since they feel so inseparable. So they're sharing this spot, just as they'll most likely share a jail cell for the rest of their lives. That said, each one is an amazing minifigure in his own right. Dewey Cheatham oozes that snake oil flim-flam man charm, and I love his gold tooth and card suit vest. On the flip side, Black Bart has a dark, brooding mystique about him, and I get the sense that he doesn't talk very much, more often than not letting his revolvers speak for him. On the other hand, I feel like the gang's leader, Flatfoot Thompson, probably talks a little too much. He's always reminded me of Mad Dog Tannen in Back to the Future 3. I had so many fun times with these guys as a kid, and I get a huge hit of nostalgia every time I see them. Sticking with the wrong side of the law, we have my absolute favorite LEGO space minifig of all time, Blacktron. These sinister-looking space spies are so incredibly simple. I mean, there's only one color of printing on the torso. But they're exactly what a sci-fi villain should look like. Menacing, intimidating, unrelenting. Then you raise the visor and all that goes out the window, but still. Blacktron was the first real sub-theme of space, hitting shelves in 1987, and these guys really upped the stakes for Futuron at the time, adding some conflict into what had once been a completely peaceful theme. And the updated remake is one instance where I love what LEGO has done. They kept the figure almost exactly the same, but added some matching back printing. Kudos to them for a job well done. Rolling out of his sarcophagus and into the number 6 spot is none other than Pharaoh Hotep. One thing I love about Adventures was that it wasn't always just good guys against bad guys, but there was often a third party involved, someone fighting everyone. Good old Hotep was the first of them, and what a start. His headdress, metallic printing, toes, he's got Lego toes. And that face is the perfect blend of creepy and mischievous. He was a sight to behold in 1998, and it was his Ruby that kicked off the entire Adventures theme, so we have to give him credit for that too. And it doesn't hurt that his home is one of my favorite sets of all time. Welcoming us to the top 5 is the one and only King Kahuka. Over 30 years later, I still have vivid memories of seeing him in the catalogs and inserts, surrounded by tropical foliage and a seemingly endless mound of treasure. I think my undying love for chrome gold coins probably started because of him. But nostalgia aside, he is a truly wonderful figure. His mask features such a great, timeless design, and I've always loved that you can actually see his eyes peering out. He, along with his tribe and Major Kartovsky, were some of the first minifigures to ever receive leg printing, which absolutely blew our minds at the time. The Islanders brought so much variety and color to the pirate theme, and King Kahuka led the way. That brings us to another iconic king at number 4, Achu, ruler of the jungle. He joins Pharaoh Hotep in that third faction class of adventures, and man, what a figure. Looking at him for the first time in 1999 really felt like we were looking into the future of what LEGO could be. Unbeknownst to us, it was actually the then new Star Wars sets sitting on the shelf next to him that would take control, but that's a story for a different day. Achu is one of those minifigures that still holds up to modern scrutiny, with his incredible printing detail, unique headdress, and phenomenal cape. He's also the most valuable of all Adventurers minifigs, with new specimens able to command over $100. And looking at that face, he wouldn't have it any other way. Oh, the nostalgia. We're at the point on my list where any one of these last 3 could be my number 1 favorite, depending on which way the wind is blowing. So for today, Johnny Thunder gets the bronze. You'd be hard-pressed to find a more beloved original LEGO character than him. And I think part of that is just because he's the face of one of the most beloved original LEGO themes, but he also embodies the spirit of adventure that fueled so many of our childhood fantasies. Sure, you can call him an Indiana Jones ripoff, but Indiana Jones was a ripoff too. The quest for the Rhaegar Ruby, the Sun Disk, the Golden Dragon, and something somewhere else ignited our imaginations with thoughts of hidden treasures, booby traps, and non-stop adventure. If you haven't already, get yourself a Johnny Thunder and start exploring. At the very least, pick up one of the remakes, as they're all pretty great. Some minifigures are so great that even LEGO can't let them go. Captain Redbeard is one such figure, and despite all of the sets, waves, and characters that came after him, he remains the face of LEGO Pirates nearly 40 years later. When he was first introduced in 1989, his hat, epaulets, hook, and peg leg were all brand new elements, and they're all still in production today, a testament to just how good his design was and still is. And much like Johnny Thunder, he represents a million possible adventures, from the deck of his ship to the jungles of Indigo Island and everywhere in between. And while he is indeed a pirate, he's the jolly, fantastical type, adored by his crew and LEGO fans across the globe. Before we get to number 1, here are some of those honorable mentions I alluded to at the beginning. All of these are fantastic, and some of them would have easily made this list if only I had them in my possession, especially figures like Alpha Draconis, Royal Knights King, and Robin Hood. And that brings us to my number 1 LEGO minifigure of all time, for today at least, the Skeleton. Surprised? Well, I am too, a little bit, but when I really stop to think about what my go-to figure is for nearly every type of custom build, the most versatile, the one who can spice up any set, it's this guy. He can be found in all of my favorite themes, or at least parts of him. From adventurers to pirates, castle to western, Not to mention Town, Monster Fighters, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Studios Ninja, Jurassic World, Creator 3-in-1 Ninjago, etc., etc. There are literally bits and pieces of him scattered throughout all of LEGO, from his introduction in 1995 until today. Sure, my preference is the old floppy arm style, but any of them can add a little atmosphere to just about any set or mock. And let's not forget, he's my sig fig, representing how TrikBrix rose from the grave. So there it is, the top 25 vintage LEGO minifigures of all time. But as always, these are just my picks. I'd love to hear yours in the comments. While you're at it, if you enjoyed this video and haven't done so already, I'd greatly appreciate a like, hype, and a follow. And be sure to tap the bell so the algorithm can't keep you from my next video. Before I go, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the members of Club Maniac. They're the whole reason you saw this video today, because without their support, TrikBrix would not exist. So we all owe them our thanks for their continued dedication and generosity. But that's all I've got for you today. I'll be back again soon, but until then, this has been Jamie for TrikBrix. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care and play well.